All right, I'm talking to you guys about target audience today. Just going to give you like a knowledge dump of several very important things. This issue, I'm not exaggerating at all. This is actually more important than your titles, your thumbnails, your tags. I think it's even more important than the quality of your video content. That's like how big of a deal target audience is. Like if you don't have a narrow target audience that you understand organically in your mind, you know them as people. If you don't have that, you very well may fail on YouTube even if your videos are really good. So just for those who are new to this YouTube channel, my name's Mike Winger, and my main YouTube channel is actually one where I teach theology and apologetics, and I preach and teach the truth of Jesus Christ. And I've used YouTube strategies over the years to grow that channel, along with hopefully good, solid content. I've also employed a lot of strategies. I've done a lot of learning and spent many, many hours studying the platform of YouTube, learning from other YouTubers as well, and just getting my head wrapped around this thing. At a certain point, you start to like be able to think like YouTube style. You're able to kind of calculate things automatically. How is this going to work on this platform? How should I tweak or adjust the content that I care about so that it will reach more people? And basically my goal now with this new channel is to teach others the things that I've learned so that more people, I mean, it'll multiply ministry. This is entirely about Jesus Christ, okay? I want more YouTubers to be out there who are overtly Christian, who are in a ton of different spheres doing, whether it's gaming or it's preaching or it's apologetics or it's street witnessing or it's comedy or it's art or it's cartoon videos, whatever they're doing, whatever your genre is, knitting, whatever your genre is, helping equip you to do better so that you can have an impact for the kingdom of God while you're making this content online. And this is just to say, right? Because you're looking at my current channel thinking, oh, that's a small channel, at least at the moment it is. But this isn't the channel I've spent my time and energy on, nor is it the channel where I practice all of these tips and tricks. I do that on my main channel. So let me tell you why this matters so much, why target audience is such a big deal. This is going to be a YouTube education now on kind of how the algorithms work. And by the way, thanks for joining me. This video is live. All my videos on this channel are pretty much going to be live because that means I don't have to edit. And one of the tips for taking a brief amount of time to do YouTube when you're spending all your time on other content and other things is to do them live. So there's no editing, there's no uploading, it's just boom, it's done. So glad to see you guys joining me. I'm excited for your ministries and for what God's gonna do through your content. And if I can just sow into that, I'm happy. Okay, so here's how the YouTube algorithm works. It used to be, you know, when people think YouTube, they remember when it first was sort of catching on. And what would happen is you go to your homepage and you click your homepage, and all of the videos looked pretty much the same. Everyone's seeing the same cat video on all of their homepages around the world. But it's totally changed now. YouTube has worked hard, and they continue to work hard. They're getting better and better at this all the time, at specializing content so that you get suggested content suggested for you that's just for you. Like if you like ants, you're going to be getting videos about ants and ant farms and animations and stuff like that. If you like Marvel movies, you're going to be getting all suggested content from Marvel movies and clips of films and background info and bloopers. This is playing to our strengths today. It means you can make a niche channel, a channel that focuses on a small group of people, a target audience. And YouTube itself is actually designed to make that work. So what doesn't work is making content for everyone. What does work is making content for specific kinds of people who have very specific interests. This is why my channel works now, why it didn't work actually when I first started making content online, and it progressively got better and better because they were changing the algorithms, the way that the algorithm works, to make it niche focused, interest focused. So what you have to do is take advantage of the way YouTube's set up by making your content very niche focused. It's focused on a specific kind of person. But I don't want you to do this robotically. You want to do it organically. You want to be thinking about the individual people, real people that you're making content for, who are going through a season of life or something like that. That's what your target audience is. I'll tell you more about that in this video. And how to figure out your target audience. It's one of the hardest things, actually. If I was to ask you for your YouTube channel, who's your target audience? Would you draw a blank? Okay, that means that your content won't do as well. But if you could say, ooh, I can describe my target audience well, then that means your content is a big leg up. Like you have a massive boost in your potential to do well online. So we're looking at people who have clusters of interests, who have various focuses in their lives, not mass appeal. Do not make content for everyone. If you make it for everybody, you've made it for nobody. Right? If you make it for everyone, you've made it for nobody. Now, if you do have a target audience, like a real focused target audience, here's some of the benefits. I'm going to give you 3 different benefits of how important this is. You've got to see this as essential as you begin your YouTube channel, or if you want to take your channel to the next level. First, subscribers, people who are regular subs on your channel, they will watch your new content because you have a target audience and you're making all your videos for that same target audience. So I have like, 1,500 or 1,800 subs on this channel right now, mostly people who just got excited when I announced I was doing this on my main channel. Well, if I make content that's all about like the YouTube algorithm or all about how to do better, then you're likely to click on it. But if I on this channel throw up a video of my cat, which she's adorable, but if I just have a whole video of my cat, you're not going to click it because you're not cat people. Well, some of you are, but that's not your focus. You're here for YouTube tactics and strategies. And it's the same on your channel. If on your channel you have something that's about current events in the news, something else that's like a blog about your daily life, and something else that's about raising kids, and something else that's about like a movie review, you don't have a target audience and you disengage your subs. So even if you have 20, 30, 100,000 subs, but you put out content that doesn't meet the reason why they subbed, your channel's going to fail. But if you put out content that keeps hitting the same people over and over, then you have high subscriber engagement. And this triggers a bunch of like snowball effects in the YouTube algorithm. So you're basically seeing that a bunch of your subs are excited about this video. So then YouTube says, ooh, look at the kinds of people that like this content. Let's shop this video out to a whole bunch more people who have the same interests as them. And by focusing down narrowly, you actually broaden your reach. So you gain subscriber interest. Also, suggested video becomes more effective. People don't realize this, but most of your YouTube views are not going to come, if you have a successful channel, they're not going to come through people searching terms and finding a video that has like a title that matches that term. That's how it used to be. It's not how it is now. Most of your video is going to come from what's called suggested content. Now, suggested content is like right now you're watching my video, but look along the side of your screen. You see, I guess on this side, right, you see a bunch of other videos. These are suggested videos. You didn't search for these. YouTube's recommending them based on your viewing history, based on the kinds of stuff you watch and the kinds of stuff you search online. That's what they're doing. And when you have focused content that's in a niche crowd, like if your content's all about yarn and crocheting, then because all your videos are about that, your videos are going to be easier for the algorithms to figure out who to put them forward to, right? They know that this is your video content's for certain kinds of people because you have every single video is consistently for the same target audience. They're all Minecraft videos, right? They're all apologetics videos. They're all not just even apologetic. Maybe they're all videos with dealing with Jehovah's Witness theology. They're all videos dealing with maybe it's just cults in general is the direction. Or maybe you have a video for recovering New Agers, people who used to be New Age and now they've come to Christ. Maybe you have people who are super politically focused and you want to reach them with a Christian worldview over their politics. And so every video is about that. This triggers suggested video content. And since most of your views will come from suggested videos, it's gonna lead to success. Also, you have another benefit, which is this. Let's say you've made 100 videos and you're just now at 10,000 subs, you're just now growing, things are doing well, and you're getting new subs, but your early videos nobody watched, right? There was like hardly anybody, you're just stockpiling content online. Here's what I found happens on my channel. Old content that I thought was just dead, because it's targeting the same target audience for years. When I get new subs, they go back and watch old content. And not because they're going to my channel and looking for old content, but it's because my content is all for the same audience. They subscribe. YouTube then digs into the archives of my videos and says, let's recommend this, let's recommend that, because these are all for the same person. So your new viewers watch your old content. And this, again, it all snowballs. These are three different benefits. Subscriber interest, suggested video is more effective, and then new viewers watching old content. Those are all benefits of having a target audience. So here's the advice with target audience. It's super organic. The thing is this, do not just make a video, and don't make a video you like. And this is a super Christian quality here. Make a video that's for that person. If you have that mentality, it will change the way you do your video. When you're deciding whether or not to have this in the video, that in the video, when you realize who it's for, it changes what you do. I mean, when I cook for myself, I cook a certain way. When I cook for my wife, I cook a little different because it's for her. You're making your video for the target audience that you need to understand. You need to understand them. This is just the Christian value of looking not out for your own interests, but also for the interests of others. This is considering others, right? Loving others. I mean, this is just applying that to YouTube videos, and it works, actually. So there are different kinds of target audience. Some people, you're looking for a moment, a season of their life. They're in a particular season. Maybe they're going through secular university and they have all these challenges. So your whole channel is just devoted to answering professor skeptics or something like that. And so you have them for a season of life and they watch you for a couple of years and then they move on. But somebody else, there's always new people coming in to watch you. Or other people, it's because they have a particular hobby and obsession. And they're going to always watch your content because they're always interested in that hobby or that thing. And so that's things to think about for your target audience. Let me help you narrow it down though, because it's easy to talk about target audience, to tell you it's super important, that you're going to fail if you don't know your target audience, which you probably will. Some people just accidentally make it work because they unintentionally have a target audience. But look at, like, say, David Wood's channel. He does absolutely fantastic. His target audience is people who care about Islam and Muslims and Christians who care about the intersection of Christianity and Islam. I think if I had to guess, I'd say that's his target audience. Now, if you go on his channel and you find the videos that aren't about Islam and aren't about that intersection, you will find they don't do very well because his target audience disengages from that content. He has to make consistent content that's about the same topics or it won't perform as well. So you can learn these same lessons. So here's questions to ask about your target audience. And I mean, actually get out a notepad and you want to write down these questions. How old are they? What is their age? Now, maybe your target audience is of all ages, but if you can narrow it down, I suggest narrowing it down. My target audience is probably 25 to 35. Okay? It doesn't mean I'm not ministering to other people, but in my head, it helps me focus my content. Think about their education level. What is their education level? That's really important because it changes how you communicate with them, right? If they're children, their education level is very low. You're going to lower your vocabulary. You're going to speak differently. You're going to be concerned about how long your videos can be to keep their attention, especially if they're teaching content. If they're older, you can teach longer. You can teach at a higher level, and their education level, factors into this a lot. So if I use the word, say I'm doing apologetics, and I use the word syllogism, I need to know with my target audience if I have to define that word for them or if they already know what it means. That's important to me, because otherwise I lose contact with my target. And so I don't really want to focus on people that are just highly, highly educated and people who just read every book that's out there. Look, if you read 1,000 apologetics books, I'm not interested. You already know. You're not even watching me to learn. You're just watching me to let me test you and see how you're doing, Mike. And that's fine, but you're not my target audience. So have fun with that. I know what my target audience is, right? So what is their education level? What are their interests? What are their interests? And I mean any interest you can think of, anything that they're interested in, and just start making a list because you're thinking of real people. And here's a huge point. Don't just think of generic, robotic images in your head. Think of a real person who represents your target audience. And then think of where their interests will be the same as your general target audience's interests. So one of the things my my target audience cares about is Bible translations. They care about Bible translations. They're worried that their translations they have or that some of the ones out there are not really faithful, right? And so videos I do about Bible translations tend to do well. But I understand the people that are watching my content, and that's how I know that that'll work. So what are their interests? Also, what are their passions? What are the things they're passionate about? Now, if you have a gaming channel, for instance, what they're passionate about is finding game glitches or something like that, or if you have, a theology content, that what they're passionate about is the whole what about John MacArthur's Strange Fire Conference? What about this is something they're passionate about? Maybe that. So what are their passions? What are the things that they care deeply about so you can meet them there? What about their pain points? This is another question you want to write down. What are the pain points of my target audience? What are the things that cause them to go, oh my goodness, somebody needs to say something about this. Someone needs to highlight this, do something about this. And when you find those pain points, you have video ideas for what kind of content you're going to produce. That's a really big deal. So if you're making content that's meant for teens, you're interested in the pain points of teens. If you're making content for, let's say you're doing political content, well, one of the pain points for people who care about politics is going to be news media misrepresenting the facts on whichever side. And so that's going to be a pain point. You can actually highlight that. You can make videos. This is a focus of mine. So write down their pain points. What are the things that really bug them, really hurt them, really worry them? And disturbing trends in theology, liberal theology, disturbing trends. That's something that is a pain point for me. I know it's a pain point for my target audience as well. We care about those things. Also, what are they searching for? And this is especially when your channel's small. You want to write down what kinds of search queries are my target audience typing into search engines? And try to think that through. Try to think that through, because some of your first ideas of, ooh, I'll do a video on this, a video on that, it may not actually be for your target audience. You might just be brainstorming random ideas. What are they looking for? What's the content they want that they need? This isn't about being a people pleaser. This is about meeting people's needs and being aware of what those needs are. So what are they searching for? What are they not searching for? This is a cool question. Here's another one to write down. What are they not looking for, but they would click on if they saw it? Now, this is huge because, in my opinion, keyword research and making sure your title is exactly what people are searching is not nearly as important as it used to be. I'm not saying it's not important at all, but I almost never do it. What really matters is suggested video content. So just pretend your video will pop up randomly in a person's YouTube's, on their screen. And what would your audience, your target audience, what would they click on? What would they care about enough to go, I wasn't looking for that, but boy, that looks interesting, and click. They click on it. That's the kind of thing that you want to be thinking of brainstorming. And now this can be easy if the target audience is just like you, because you just think of yourself. Like for me, my target audience in a lot of ways is me when I was in my early 20s. That's really kind of who they are. They're like me at a younger age. So I kind of know my target audience. I know them organically. I understand them, what they're thinking. And of course, I'm wrong about a third of them or 2/3 of them maybe, right? But it gives me focus, and it gives me consistent content that produces that snowball effect, that produces suggestive video content, that produces subscriber interest and new subscribers watching old stuff. Here's another question. What do they want in a video? What do they want in a video? See, I know for me, and I'm speaking about my channel to give you brainstorming ideas for your channel. I know for me, my channel, what they want is substantive content. Okay, my target audience, in my head, my imaginary person, they want substantive content that is not just going to give them a slightly repackaged version of everything they've always heard before, but they want something that takes it a level deeper, that goes a little bit more insightful, a little bit more thoughtful, and that is clear and organized and all that kind of thing. And so I'm thinking of, if I was watching this video, what would I not want to have in here? What would I want to skip over? And this happens all the time in my notes as I'm preparing my notes, where I'm looking at the content and I go, look, this whole section's interesting, but it's not directly related to this video. I should just delete it, move it, share it some other time. And so you think of what they're focused on, what they're interested in. We'll talk more about audience retention in future videos. That's a huge, huge issue, and it will help. But yeah, think about what they don't want in a video, what they're not interested in. And you do need to imagine a person with real opinions like that. I think it's going to help you. Be specific. Be specific. Think of a real person, real people. Find a real person you know and just think, what if it was them? What if there was 1 million of that person and I was making content for them? I think that's going to help you. So here's some example ideas to get your brainstorms going, right? You could be thinking of parents of young kids who are homeschooling now and are looking for advice on how to homeschool better, right? Tons of people are homeschooling right this second. Like that would be a channel to start 3-4 months ago. That would be a big deal. You could be thinking of ministry leaders in small churches who have no budget and they want real advice, not corporate blah blah. Because guess what? Pastors, when they go to conferences and they get all this tips and advice on how to do ministry, it's almost always directed towards giant churches with huge budgets. But who's helping out the small churches with no budget and hardly any volunteers? Well, maybe that could be you. And it could be real advice that actually works because you've done it and you've seen the benefit. And there's no bells or whistles in that sense. Maybe that could be a whole target audience for you. How many pastors around the world are like that? I'd say most of them. How about teenagers who are on fire, but they feel alone in their commitment to Christ, and they really need, like a sense of belonging, a sense of like allegiance to some other young people who are like on fire like them, and help them filter through and work through the issues of dealing with a culture that is so ungodly, and the pressure they're experiencing and the questions from their friends, but on their level, not on like the high apologetics level where a lot of content is for other people. Maybe your target audience is atheists. See, if your target audience is atheists, I'll give you an example. You don't want to just make videos like, hey, atheist, I'm talking to you. You actually want to leverage positive conflict on your channel where you maybe you interact with atheists. Maybe you do reviews of atheist books and atheist articles, and you talk to other atheist YouTubers and you analyze their videos, but you do it in a way where the atheist can hear you, not just the Christian who regularly goes to church. And I can tell you, the Christian who regularly goes to church might not like your content, right? They might not like it because it's not appealing to them, okay? Like for various reasons you may well understand, it's just not going to appeal to them. But your target audience isn't them. Your target audience is the atheist. But to do this, you need to interact with atheist content, not just preach at atheists. Like that's because what atheist is like, oh, I just want to watch 12 hours of this guy preaching that atheism is wrong. No. I want to see him interact with Matt Dillahunty. I want to see him interact with Lawrence Krauss. I want to see him interact with Richard Dawkins' new book, for children. I should do a video on that actually. Maybe your channel is people who love turtles. It's your target audience is like people who love turtles, and then the creativity is going to be, how do I leverage this into a possibility, an opportunity to naturally preach the gospel. And we'll have future videos on that, on creative ideas on how to bring non-Christian related content, the gospel, into those contexts. It could be people that love watching RPG playthroughs. That could be your target audience, and you can think about what they do and don't like, what kinds of playthroughs irritate them and don't. And you know this if you like watching those playthroughs. You're like, oh no, another one of these guys, right? Don't be that guy, right? Be the thing you would want to see, or your target audience would want to see, even better. It could be former New Agers who need discipleship, Buddhists, witches who think they're Christians, people who seek meditation content online. It could be fantasy football fans. These are all different target audiences. But I say narrow it down as narrow as possible. Be as exacting as you can. Don't think you're limiting your audience. This is how you find your audience. If you need help figuring out your target audience better, if this isn't enough for you, look, the next video, and I'm gonna take a couple questions from your live chat right there. But before I do that, the next video is going to be about leveraging your strengths. And here's my theory. I think that if you figure out what you're good at and you figure out how to apply that on YouTube, and then think of your target audience, you'll find like there's an intersection between what you're good at and what your target audience needs. And those are your videos. Those are your videos. And I'm going to talk about that in the next video. But for now, let me go to your guys' questions. So just throw them in the live chat. Currently have no mods. I might randomly mod for this new channel. I might randomly mod some people just to let you help me out here. But yeah, let's see. What's my target audience? So Jay Jade asks what my target audience is. Let me actually read to you. I have a note file on my phone where I wrote down my target audience. And I wrote a ton of things about this person. I'm just going to read through the list here. Male. Now, does that mean I'm only making content for men? No. It just means that my content's consistent. There's a lot of women that watch the content. It's probably like 68% male, 72% or 32% female, something like that. But my thought in my head, right? Male, Christian. They are Christians. I'm not making content focused on non-Christians, although I always keep them in mind. And I hope you see that in my content. They're wary of superficial theology and reasoning. This is a passion of theirs. They're like concerned, or maybe a pain point. They're concerned about superficial theology or bad reasoning, bad logic. When pastors use bad logic, that bothers them. They're committed to the Bible as the source of doctrine. So they're not liberal Christians who are finding ways around the Scripture. They want to be faithful to the Word of God. This is a passion in their heart already there. They're worried that they may have been taught wrong on some things. They're concerned as much as they love their pastors and teachers and the way they grew up. But they're worried that maybe there's some elements of their theology that are wrong. I'm aware of that. That's my target audience. They have that in their mind. They want deep theology, but they want to see the case being made for it. So don't just tell me what to believe. Show me why. And that's constantly in my content every single time. They've been burned before. There's people that they love and trusted, and then they found out some of the information they heard was wrong. Doesn't mean they're not Christians now. They're believers. They just realize that people can be mistaken. And I keep that in mind. They're frustrated with shallow Bible studies in their churches. They love their fellowship, but they just frustrated. They're like, man, I just wish we had better studies. And I try to provide those better studies, to be honest. They feel underfed in their church. Which is why they're going to binge the content I'm creating, and it's going to minister to them. My thought is, I'm going to change them. They're going to get fed. They're going to love the word so much. They're going to be the future teachers in their church, and the next generation will be fed well. That's my hope. Let's see what else. They want to serve more, but they lack the knowledge. See, they want to serve God, but they just feel like they don't know enough. Well, I'm going to give them the knowledge, I hope, in the teaching content I do that will make them feel, man, I could step out and serve more. I could even teach now, that kind of thing. I could just go on, right? They prefer videos to books. That's my target audience. They prefer watching videos to reading books. Now, maybe that's not you, but guess what? I still need to have a target audience, and this helps me. I realize that there may be a great book, but it's better for me to just to summarize the teaching of it than to just tell you to read it. And that's because that's the way they are. Let's see. They do love to learn. It cares as much about why to believe as about what to believe. They need someone to trust, but not just someone to believe. I think, and I try to present myself hopefully as someone who's earning your trust, but not you're just going to believe every word I say. And I don't want you to do that. I don't think it's healthy. And they have a million questions about Christianity, about the Bible, about all these things, but not unbelief, just actual questions. There you go. There's some of my target audience. I wrote other things. They serve in ministry. They like teaching others in some fashion. They do care about evangelism. They like to engage people online with answers and comments and typing and all that. And I wrote pain points. One of their pain points is bad representations of Christianity or anything that hurts the name of Christ in the public sphere. People they know that have fallen away, particularly in unbelief. That's a pain point when they think about those people. And I can maybe do content that helps them reach those people. The abuse of Scripture is a pain point. Another one is manipulation of people through poor leadership. This drives them nuts. Well, guess what? It drives me nuts. That's why I'm writing. I'm describing myself, okay, with all this stuff. And then I'm making content for that person. They also hate seeing people go sideways in theology, especially when it's a teacher or a person that used to be solid. So I just wrote down tons of ideas. I brainstormed. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just gives you focus, right? Like you may not be perfectly on the bullseye. Maybe my real target audience is here and I'm aiming here. But the truth is I'm aiming here and it gets me close. And if I didn't aim anywhere, my arrows would just be all over the place. That's the idea. Let's see here. Another question. I'll take another question from you guys. This is from Logos Veritas. Says, what do you use to craft or design your videos? Any program recommendations that can help with time management? If it's a major time management issue, my recommendation is to go live like I'm doing right now. I get one take and I'm done. Look, I've got a bunch of my focus is really my other YouTube channel. And this channel is probably not going to thrive that much. I don't care though, because the purpose of this channel is growing your channel, right? So I just need the Christians who need the content to find it, and that's it. It doesn't have to be a lot. But going live is one way to do that. You just avoid all the editing and everything. You just go live. But I will talk more about that in the future. I'm going to have a video on time-saving tips for this sort of thing. But in short, I use Photoshop, and I did have to sit and learn it, and use tutorials online and all that. And I also use XSplit to do my recording. That's the program I use. It's the letter X and the word split. And I'm pretty happy with that combination. There's other things you could do as well. One of the huge tips I'll give you guys is this. Learn how to just find tutorials online. Like if you type it out, like how to make a YouTube thumb on your cell phone, like you will find a tutorial. You could look up D. Nimmin. That's DEE space NIMMIN. If you just want to primarily use your cell phone to do all your YouTube content, his channel is just about teaching you how to do that. So there's something you can check out. Let's see. Is your left ear on your mic not working? I don't know. You guys have to tell me. The mic should be stereo, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. You guys have to tell me. Let's see who else. I'll take another question from somebody here, and then we're gonna call it a day pretty quick here. Like I said, this is gonna be quick content. I'm just gonna try to give you the meat and then move on. Yeah, D is great, says the Tinkerer's wife. Yeah. See, I watch all kinds of content. In fact, if you guys go to my main channel, I've populated suggested channels. If you click on my YouTube channel and then go to where it says channels, I've suggested channels of YouTubers you should follow. I'll make a video about it in the future. YouTubers you should follow if you want to be learning how to use the content online. Just take a season of your life and study YouTube and learn how this thing works. New Jerusalem Christian says, what kind of video software or cameras make good visuals and graphics? Okay, so there's a variety of ways you can do this, and I'm not really savvy with this kind of thing. So you can go onto you can go online and you can buy like, is it Encore? Anyways, there's a few websites, and I'd have to go look them up to remind myself. It's been a while. But you can basically purchase a few different like stock graphics where there's like all these, it's like $10-20. You purchase something and it has all these cool things that happen, and you just sort of input your logo into that and it animates your logo for you. And that's what I did initially with the Bible Thinker animated logo. Beyond that, you could also go to Fiverr, and Fiverr is a website where you can just hire somebody pretty cheap to make a logo for you. When it comes to animating logos, creating logos, I look for other people to help. Yeah, that's what I do. All right, y'all, look, here's the deal. I'm going to be going live again as soon as I have time. There's going to be no schedule for this channel, and it's only because my biggest concern is my online ministry. I'm not going to like detract from that. but I want to keep making content, and I have a bunch of video ideas. So I'll go live as soon as I can. The next video is going to be all about learning how to leverage your gifts. And I know this is not going to be a super clicky title, but I think it's a hugely helpful idea, is learning how to use what you're naturally good at to make excellent YouTube content, because you don't want a cookie cutter channel, right? You want specialized content. Like, that's just, it's you, it's what you're good at. And I've done this. I tried experimenting with doing things I wasn't good at. And guess what? It didn't work very well. When I just said, yeah, forget it, I'm just going to do what I'm good at, that's when things did well. All right, so yeah, that's great. I should mod some of you guys. I'll do it later. You guys are such a great chat right now. Who even needs mods? so yeah, and also, I'll let you know this. In the future, I'm going to be interviewing some of you. In fact, I'll just announce it now. I'm going to interview some of you guys. Not interview like so much, actually do coaching sessions. And I can't do it with everybody. I'm just going to bring some of you on live on this YouTube channel. We're going to look at your channel together, and I'm just going to run you through tips and tricks and advice on how you can make that content better. So if you want to do that, here's one way you can do it. Send an email to me, and you can find my email by going to my actual YouTube channel and going to the About page, or you could just email it to yttacticswithmikewinger@gmail.com. This email is not for correspondence. Okay, I'm not going to be going back and forth with people, but if you want to say, I want to be on, you need to do a few things. Link your channel in that email. You also need to answer a couple questions. One question, are you an evangelical Christian? Right, that's the focus. That's my heart. Those are the people I want to focus on helping. This content will help all sorts of other people. That's fine. You're all welcome to learn from it. But that's my heart to focus on, is evangelical Christians, right? Where you believe in like the 5 solas. I mean, you're a solid Christian. And then I want you to also tell me in one brief statement what your channel is about. And the third thing, I want you to tell me how you're going to use your content to further the kingdom of Christ. And don't give me huge like stories. Just answer the questions real briefly, and then I'll consider having you guys on and helping you out. That's how it's going to work. All right, that's all I got. You have a great day, and I will come back to your questions more with more live content very soon.